Hello there, and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. Today I'm going to take you on my annual journey with setting up summer tubs. After last year, I really have some high hopes for this season, and hopefully I can breed some new species outside. Our normal tubbing season is from Memorial Day to Labor Day, but with the cooler weather this year, it was delayed till early June. So let's go ahead and get started with setting up the summer tubs. So this year, I decided to start a little bit early and start setting my tubs up at the end of April. While I probably won't put fish in till the end of May, I decided to set them up earlier to see if I can get them seasoned a little bit before I add fish. I took down some old stock tank sumps that were inside the barn, so I'm aiming for 7 to 8 tubs this season. While the tubs were in pretty good shape cleanliness wise, I decided to give them a quick cleaning before I set them up. So after I got the tubs cleaned, I went ahead and arranged the tubs in the same area that I had them in last year. If you watched last year's tubbing video, there were a bunch of overgrown weeds that surrounded the tubs. Earlier this spring, I was able to trim back a bunch of those weeds and picker bushes. So hopefully this year, the tubs will be a little bit easier to deal with. In total, I ended up with 7 tubs. There are 4 here on the left, and then 3 more on the right. Most of them are larger Rubbermaid stock tanks, with a couple of larger bins that I've reinforced with cinder blocks so they don't bow. Now that we have the tub set up, we need to clean up the reef rocks that I used in last year's tubs. I just sprayed them off with a little bit of water. I also purchased this large bag of pebbles from Lowe's, which I'm going to go ahead and rinse off in this bucket that has holes in it. Hopefully these pebbles will add some additional fry cover. Now that everything's rinsed, it's time to start putting the rocks in the tubs. I'm going to go ahead and show you this first tub, but this process will repeat itself for each individual tub. I'm going to add the reef rock to one side of the tub, and then add the river rock to the other. The goal here is to maximize the hiding spots for fry. I went ahead and finished all of the tubs, so let's go ahead and walk through each of them and check out how I set up the rock work. Now all that's left is just to fill them with water. I now have them filled with water and added the solar water pumps that I bought last season. Since I added more ponds though, I'll have to pick up a few more from Amazon. The next step in this process is to figure out what I'm going to do plant-wise. I do want to try some legitimate pond plants this year, so I'll have to figure out where to find them. I'll check back in once I have all of that figured out. I thought that finding pond plants around here would be fairly easy. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I went to 2 pond shops, and they weren't going to have any plants until Memorial Day weekend, which I thought was kind of odd. However, I did find some plants at one of my local fish stores, Moby Dick's in Waterford, Michigan. One of the things that I did in preparation for the fish and the plants was to empty some sponge filters into the pond to add some beneficial bacteria. It's now a couple weeks later. Unfortunately, I did have some issues finding pond plants. Most of the pond stores here don't stock the pond plants until Memorial Day, but one of my local fish stores did have some pond plants, so we're gonna go ahead and get started planting those. What I have here, I do have some pea gravel that I got from Lowe's. I got a couple different containers. I've got these big ones for a couple of the plants. Then I have some smaller ones for some things in the fish room that I'm gonna plant. And then I also have these smaller containers that I was gonna use for like a fry trap, but they didn't work. But this is actually probably what you should use for your ponds. It's got all the serrations inside so the water can get in better. These bigger pots though do have some holes in the bottom, so that'll help as well. And obviously these will be submerged, so I think they should get plenty of nutrients. I also have these Aquarium Co-op root tabs. I'm gonna use these as the fertilizer. I know they do make like tub fertilizer and pond fertilizer, but I think I should be fine with this. We do have these bigger pebbles as well. I'm just gonna use these in the bottom of the bigger pots just to kind of keep the gravel in. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first plant I have here is this Menahoon bog lily. It's called a Crinum menahune. So it gets to be about 24 inches long. So this plant you basically have to submerge about a couple inches under the water level. So I'm gonna use one of the bigger pots for this. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing, I'm gonna use some of the bigger pebbles first for the bottom of the pot. So we're gonna go ahead and just put some of these in here in my little colander. And we're just gonna rinse them off to get some of the dirt off. So you see there, just put those in the bottom of the pot. So now I'm going to start adding in the pea gravel. You really need to wash this quite well because it is quite dirty. I've got a nice layer there. I'm going to wash a little bit more of this up, and then I'm going to start working on kind of getting the plant planted. All right, so let's go ahead and take this plant out of its pot. You see there's quite a nice big root ball in here. I'm gonna break it up a little bit. All right, so add some gravel to this. I think that's kind of good right there. I am going to add in a handful of root tabs for these. Just kind of sprinkle it around in here. And then we'll add in some more pea gravel. I don't have quite enough yet, so let me just move that over to the side. All right, just gonna add some more rocks in here. All right, so that should about do it for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side for a moment, and then we're gonna go get working on some of the other plants. So the next plant here is I have this Indiana water lily. It's called a hardy water lily. One interesting thing about this is it has like a tuber, kind of like a rhizome plant like you would plant in your aquarium. So you don't want to bury the tuber completely. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of use the same method to plant this. All right, so I filled this one all the way first, and then we're just going to push in some more root tabs. And then we're going to just take this and just kind of plant it against the side. And then we don't want to bury, kind of like an Anubias or a Crypt, you don't really want to bury the tuber. And then this one I can submerge completely, so that should work out just fine. So I do have one other lily to plant, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll shut the camera off and just do that one off camera, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get these in the pond. All right, it's time to start planting. So I'm gonna put the lilies in this pond right here. So this first one is the one that we planted earlier, the Indiana. So go ahead and put that in. And then the second one is Lavandera liliacea, so it's a hardy water lily pink. So we'll put this one over here. We're gonna go ahead and put the bog lily in this tote right here. I am gonna make a little bit of an adjustment to the rock work so this will fit. So I do have a flat piece of reef rock in here, so I am just gonna put that sideways. And then hopefully this will fit on there with no problem and be the right depth. Yep, that's actually kind of good. Well, sort of. All right, so that didn't work so well. All right, there we go. So got that in there. It's kind of a nice 2 inches below the water level. And also in here I did buy some water hyacinth. Hopefully that will kind of fill out the top as well. So that's that tub there. All right, so I now went ahead and did the same thing. I had some rotala sitting in the fish room that I decided to go ahead and plant in these smaller pots. I just added some root tabs to these as well. They're all set and planted. So we're gonna go ahead now and take these over to the tub and go ahead and put them in. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll start sinking all this rotala in here. All right, so before we finish up for today, let me go ahead and I'll take you through kind of where all the tubs stand right now. So this first tub here, I just put in some guppy grass. You can see here it's gotten pretty dirty in the bottom. That's just from all the pollen and everything. This next one does have some guppy grass in it as well. I also did put the water hyacinth in here as well. The next one is one we just looked at. This has the water hyacinth as well as the bog lily in the back that we just planted. So going to this one here, we planted both of the lilies in this one. So hopefully we'll see those start to grow and start to bloom. Moving here, this is the rotala tub that we just planted. Looks like a couple of them already came out, which is not surprising, but we'll have to take a look and fix that. The next tub here, I did buy some red root floaters at a local aquarium club meeting. So I'm going to see if these grow out and see how these turn out here in the tub. And then the last one I've not put plants in yet, but more than likely I am going to be putting in some hornwort probably, just for some fry cover and stuff like that. So this is the plant lineup for the tubs right now. It has been pretty cold at night so far. So it's probably going to be a couple weeks before we add the fish. So hopefully that will give the plants a good opportunity to get started. So we'll check back in when it's time to add the fish. I'm pretty excited to see how all these turn out over the summer. All right, it's now June 6th. The weather has not been great for putting fish outside, but today is finally the day that we can go ahead and put some fish out here. I'll walk you through the tubs again real quick. This tub here just has some guppy grass, some duckweed. This one here also has just guppy grass, a little bit of water hyacinth, and just some rocks for cover. This one has the Betahune bog lily, as well as some water hyacinth. This one has the lilies. One of them somehow got off of its planter, and it's now down in the bottom here. You probably can't see it, but that one's down in the bottom. You can see here too, there's plenty of little bugs in here. So there's plenty of things in here now for the fish to eat. This tub just has a little bit of guppy grass. Also has some Rotala indica, which doesn't seem to be doing very well in here. So I'll probably end up throwing some guppy grass in here as well. This tank has some red root floaters. Another tank that's gonna have some guppy grass in it. And then this smaller tub, again, just some guppy grass, some rocks for protection. So we now have all the fish ready to go in the tubs. I'll go ahead and show them all to you. They're all gonna be Gideids this time. We're gonna go all Gideids this time and see if we can get some fry production out of some of these colonies. So first up here, we have the Xenotoca variata from Jesus Maria. I didn't pull all of these out of the 29-gallon tank they were in, but I did pull most of the larger fish. So hopefully we can get quite a few fry from these. I've always had good luck with Xenotocas, so I hope that's the case again. So these next ones here are the Alidonychthes tamazule. I've had these for quite a long time and I've never bred them. I've got 3 fish in here left, so hopefully I can get these breeding. Maybe we can start getting some fry going from these. Next up here is the Xenotoca lion's eye. This is a fish that I've bred in tubs before. I got a new pair a couple years ago, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and get these breeding again outside in the summer tubs. Next up here is my Chapeleuctes encaustus. Really great fish, one of my favorite Gideids in the hobby. Really haven't spawned for me since I've gotten them a couple years ago, so this is another one I'm hoping to trigger by having them out in the tubs. All right, so this next one here is the Xenotoca melanosoma. This is a pretty rare Xenotoca species, and not too many people have these. This is another one I kind of struggle to breed a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop these outside too, and hopefully we can really get some good breeding action out of these. This next one here, these are the Iliodon whitei. I've had these I think for about 3 years, and I've really never had any success breeding these. Again, kind of hoping we can get these triggered with putting them in the tubs. And then last but not least, we do have the Bulldog Gideids, or Allophorus robustus. A fish I really like. Again, I've really not bred this fish, so hopefully putting it out in a bigger container can lead to some fry production. I think I do have one more in the tank that I caught this out of, so I'll have to go back and get the third one out. But we'll go ahead and we'll see how these guys do. So I'm gonna go ahead now and do my favorite part of this, which is kind of doing the underwater filming. So as I release these fish, we're gonna go ahead and get the GoPro out, and we're gonna kind of film putting these guys underwater. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. As we're releasing the fish here, I'll know which fish we are releasing, and when we're done, I'll go back through all the tubs again and show you which fish went where. So just to go ahead and recap here, we have the Iliodon whitey eye in this tub. We've got the Xenotoka lion's eye in this tub. We've got the Xenotoka melanosoma, I believe, in this one. And then we've got the Xenotoka variata are in this one. All right, so then the biggest one, this 150, we have the Allophorus robustus. This one we have the Chapolictes incaustus. And then in this final one, we have the Alodonychthes tamazulae. So I hope that you enjoyed coming along on this journey with me with the summer tubs. It was definitely a lot longer than expected, but up until this week, we were still having low temperatures in the 40s. So needless to say, this has been the most delayed tubbing season that I've had. Hopefully in August and September, we'll make up for it on the back end. I'm really hoping that we see some new fry from fish that I haven't bred before, and maybe kickstart some new colonies. I'll do a pond update again sometime in July. So with that, thank you for watching, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.